Because I'm leaving also tomorrow morning early and I have a problem for assisting tomorrow. Which means I also excuse my point of view.
Oh,
which which probably will differ a little from mine. Well, to talk about this, I need first of all to give you a little description about the territorial administration in Spain. Otherwise, you won't be able to follow the argument in the discussion. I realize now that I more or less know something about the territorial administration in other European countries, as Italy or France maybe, or Germany. But the UK, I don't know that much, and it's already European Union. I mean, but about the other ones, I have no idea, about Israel or you know, so I won't be able to make any kind of comparisons in that sense, but I would really appreciate to have your comparisons so I can develop this paper much more. Basically, I won't be making any references to the articles and the concrete laws who regulate everything, because you will have it already in my paper. I think it will only make it much more boring. Spain has a territorial administration division quite similar to the Italian one. We have the state, the regions, and the local governments. And the regions became, according to the Spanish constitution, they may transform themselves into autonomous communities, which means they have their own parliament. That means also they have the capacity to approve laws, and therefore they may approve their own taxes. All of them have political and political power, and that means they all have financial power also to develop their political power. In particular, we have right now 17 autonomous communities in Spain that we are grouped in two main groups. 15 with the general systems, and two of them, you may have heard of them, are the foral regimes, País Vasco and Navarra. And we have also two cities with autonomous recognition statute, which are Ceuta and Melilla in the north of Africa. The main difference between the 15 communities with the general regime and the two with the foral regime, the special chapter, is that these two collect all the taxes, and at the end of each financial period, they pay to the state for the expenses that the state has supporting this territory. On the contrary, on the rest of the communities of the general regime, they have most of the 70% of their incomes are received for transfers from the central state. Only from a financial point of view, it means you have a lot of money during a lot of time, and you pay at the end or not. I will focus my presentation on the general autonomous regime, and especially in the Catalonia situation, because I come from Barcelona, so I come from Catalonia. I don't pretend to have any kind of independence revolution now. But almost. Well, the title of our workshop is Constitutional and Supranational Review and Tax Legislation. The change, we are right now in Spain in a big moment, in a very important moment for the change of the autonomous financial system. It doesn't mean a reform of our constitution. The constitution, by now, nobody's talking about changing it, but we will change what we call the constitutional block. We have special laws between the constitution and the rest of the financial laws, let's say it like this, who are new as the constitutional block, because they develop the provisions of our constitution. Okay. The main problem that appears in this point is our constitution recognizes financial autonomy to all the three levels of territorial administrations, But obviously we need a kind of coordination between the three, which means three treasuries. We have the state treasury, the autonomous community treasury, and then the local treasury. I will talk only about the autonomous communities treasury, but obviously we need a kind of coordination between these three levels of treasuries. Coordination in both sides. In the income side and also in the expense side. As a consequence of this financial power, each territorial administration has the power to approve their own budget and has the power to decide about the destination of their respective incomes and expenses. The Spanish Constitution provides the possibility that the state approves an organic law is an organic act, which is an act with a special, it requires a special majority to be approved, and can only be a state law. It's not possible to have an autonomic law, organic law. And this organic act was approved in 1980, establishing the general rules that should apply to all the autonomous financial systems. Which means, from a practical point of view, every autonomous system must not be the same, but all of them must respect a common general structure. Okay.
But just a 15.
But
yes.
But Basque country.
Well, also yes. Well, all of them. The 17th. Sorry. Yeah. All of them must have a general structure in common, and then they may also have one certain particularities which are supposed to be original or maybe original for all of them. This is actually, and at this moment, a very important question in Spain, because the current government, Zapatero, decided it was in his political program to approve the new autonomous financial system. And at the beginning, it was focused to be as a bilateral question between the central government and each autonomous community government. And in this sense, historically and now also, Catalonia has been always very pushing to have an autonomous regime. But right now it seems it's turning to a multilateral question. So the government is still talking with not only one autonomous community government, but with all of them. So again, it's going to be a basis. The basic structure is going to be quite common for all of us. Angelis, I don't know. One thing I would like to point out is I remember the deadline to submit this paper was January 15th, and I tried to have a paper as much actual as possible. I submit the paper on that day, at the end of the day. I went to bed, and the day after I wake up, and there was a new proposal of the government, which means the paper cannot be so. We're still having no serious proposal. All we have still drafts. We don't have even one definitive proposal. But anyhow, the question is quite important, because at the end we are talking not only about taxes, about who establishes the taxes, but also about who gets the money, who gets the tax revenue, and who spends this revenue. The financial autonomous system has been modified different times since the Spanish Constitution came into force. We had at the beginning we had different periods that were 5 years period. The last one approved in 2002. 2001 was supposed to be the definitive one, but already everybody wants to change it, so it won't be the definitive